Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea. And all were baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. Here, Paul is talking about when God led the Israelites out of Egypt by his servant Moses in Exodus 14, when they were guarded by the cloud and passed through the Red Sea unharmed, and were later fed in the wilderness, and were given water to drink out of a boulder, out of a rock. But here he is focusing not on the physical, but on the spiritual, the water which they were given from a different rock, and that rock was Christ. What does it mean for Christ to be called the rock? Jesus gives us a parable in Matthew. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rains descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And every one that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rains descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. Building your life on the rock, on Christ, means to follow his commandments, not because following them will grant you salvation, but out of true love and reverence for the Lord, because my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. I like the way a couple parts of this parable are said in Luke 6. He is like a man which built a house, and digged deep, and laid the foundations on a rock. You have to dig deep. It's not going to be easy, because you see, to truly build on the rock means you cannot choose where you're going to build. You are at the mercy of the rock. If the rock is on higher ground, you have to climb before you can build your house. If it's in the valley, you have to descend to the valley. If it's found in a storm, you must brave the storm. To follow Christ is to present yourself as a living sacrifice, as Paul puts it in Romans 12:1. And just as a sacrifice is burned up in its entirety, so we must burn away our old life. We must leave our old wants behind. We must be born again by the Holy Spirit. And through that rebirth, give ourselves as living sacrifices, not to our own wants and desires, but to Christ, to God. Now, some people will claim that we are little gods, that the Holy Spirit dwelling inside of us makes us like God, and that we become as God. The problem is that the Holy Spirit does not make us into God. He allows us to connect to God the Father through Jesus Christ. The Holy Spirit allows us to live for Christ, to accept his sacrifice, so that we too may be in the presence of the Father, but we do not become God. But let's have it your way. Let's entertain the idea for a moment that you are a little God, but comparatively, you're so little that you're more like a grain of sand. And you do have the choice to build your house on that God, but, well, maybe you should go and read the parable again before you build your house upon the sand. Or, as it said in Luke, like a man that without a foundation built a house upon the earth. When you follow the ways of the earth, the ways of other men, when you follow what feels good and go on emotions and experience instead of truth, instead of the rock, when the winds come and the rains blow, you will crumble, because you have no permanent foundation. Because unlike yours, the foundation of Christ is not dependent on the earth. It is laid up in heaven. As Jesus says, my kingdom is not of this world. For no man is the rock, but Christ alone. But whether you build your house upon the rock or upon your own sand is your choice.